Amazing moment. Billionaire hides to observe black maid as child. What happens is life-changing. In the quiet suburban neighborhood of Maplewood, where manicured lawns glistened in the afternoon sun and children's laughter echoed, an extraordinary moment unfolded. Mark Thompson, a billionaire in disguise, was taking an uncharacteristic stroll through the local park. Little did he know that today would reveal the heart of resilience he had never encountered before. As he passed a modest picnic area, his attention was drawn to a lively young boy deep in concentration. This was Marcus, a 10-year-old artist bursting with dreams that extended far beyond their humble apartment. There was Sarah, his mother, working tirelessly as a maid, her badge of honor hidden beneath a layer of grit and determination. Every jingling key and squeak of the cleaning cart was music to her ears, reminding her of her purpose, to provide a better life for her son. She cleaned houses in the neighborhood, surrounded by glistening kitchens and pristine floors, admiring the lives of those who had everything, while she fought tooth and nail for stability. It was the park's art competition that set their lives on a new path. The call for entries ignited a spark inside Marcus. He spent nights with crayons in hand, pouring his soul onto paper, as his mother sprayed warm encouragement that melted through exhaustion. Mark could only watch from afar, fascinated by the bond between mother and son. He felt something pull at his heart, an emotion he thought was stifled by wealth. Then came the competition day. Sarah's heart raced. She found herself taking a deep breath before entering that lush arena of affluent families. Their judgment lurked in the air. The sun dipped low, casting a golden hue over Marcus as he unveiled his painting, a whimsical blend of their dreams, far away from the drudgery life presented. For an instant, time froze. The beauty of raw talent shimmered like the sun reflecting off the polished pride of Maplewood. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. But as applause erupted, shadows of doubt crept in. With bills piling high and deadlines looming, Sarah felt the weight of the world pressing against her chest. She struggled to balance work, parenting, and the hope of seeing Marcus embrace his calling, a moment of greatest impact she feared might slip through her fingers. As whispers wrapped around her, Mark entered the scene as a silent benefactor, driven by the genuine spark of Marcus's creativity. He marveled at the talent hidden among the mundane, feeling the urge to intervene without being seen. Unexpected kindness swirled around them, igniting a movement where the neighborhood, once seemingly apathetic, began to rise. As neighbors came together to lend support, they uncovered their shared humanity. Could one act of compassion bridge the divide between dreams and reality? Amid voices murmuring in disbelief, a question hung heavy in the air: what happens when privilege meets perseverance? As both Sarah and Marcus approached the tipping point, everything was set for a transformation that would redefine their destinies, leaving readers eager and anxious for what the next chapter held in transforming their lives. Marcus stood before the crowd, clutching his artwork like a treasure. The cheers washed over him, bright and warm, but just as quick were the doubts that crept in. His fingers tapped nervously against the edge of the canvas. He glanced up at Sarah, who beamed with pride, yet the concern etched on her face whispered fears of their reality. "Mom, do you think they liked it?" he asked, trying to find comfort in her gaze. "Of course, baby. Your painting is beautiful. You put your heart into it, and that's what matters," she replied, her voice full of simmering determination. As the competition proceeded, Sarah felt the oppressive weight of her worries thrumming in her chest. She thought about her hours of cleaning, her aching bones, and the mountain of bills waiting to be tackled. It gnawed at her, that persistent feeling that, while Marcus's moment shone brightly, their shadows loomed just as large. Mark, still hidden in the sidelines, couldn't he shake the impact of what he witnessed? The raw emotion between mother and son stirred something within him, a yearning for connection, a desire to contribute meaningfully. Wasn't he just a billionaire? He was a man who built walls thick with isolation, and here, he was peeling them back layer by layer. Later in the day, after the formalities, the judges emerged from deliberation. Marcus's heart raced as he listened intently. Each name declared felt like a heartbeat. Honorable mention goes to Ellen Gwynn. Unconsciously, Marcus held his breath. Runner-up Jacob Smith. A small cheer erupted. He glanced at Sarah, her smile wavering, but in that fleeting moment, he saw hope flicker in her eyes. And the grand prize goes to the judge paused, stirring anticipation in the air that was thick and electric. Marcus Jameson. The world exploded into sound. The energy was infectious as applause erupted, but it quickly faded into soft whispers. The sound didn't seem applause, like it felt like a muffled noise. Judgment swirled just beneath it. Some in the crowd eyed Marcus curiously, questioning whether a boy from their neighborhood, with such humble beginnings, could really earn such recognition. Ignoring the surrounding noise, Sarah rushed to Marcus, wrapping her arms around him tightly. "You did it, honey. You really did it. This is just the beginning." But Marcus felt a knot in his stomach. Did he truly earn this award? The questions clung to him like shadows. He turned and caught Mark's eye for a fleeting moment. There was something profound in the way Mark watched him, a silent promise, an unspoken understanding. As the awards concluded, Sarah remembered something. She had promised to take Marcus out for ice cream to celebrate. The golden glints of the sun began to wane, casting an orange glow across the park's trees. They moved toward their small car, surrounded by the remnants of joy, but internally, Sarah's thoughts dove deeper. "Marcus, what are you thinking about?" she asked, sensing the shift in his mood. "I don't know, Mom. What if this doesn't change anything?" he replied, his voice a whisper. "Let us not focus on the what-ifs right now. You have talent. Remember, you have a whole community behind you." As they settled into their car, both delayed the nagging doubts that could tarnish the day. Yet something lingered in Mark's mind too. He had watched them, feeling the weight of their aspirations. Driven by uncertainty, Mark approached Marcus, offering a well-worn business card and a friendly smile. "I'd like to talk to you about your art. How about we meet sometime?" Marcus stared wide-eyed in disbelief, completely taken off guard. Who are you?" He stumbled over his words. Mark's smile broadened. "Just someone who believes in what you can do." Did this chance encounter mean something bigger? As they all drove away, the air was thick with possibilities and unanswered questions, leaving Sarah and Marcus to wonder just how far this journey could take them. What would they uncover if Marcus chose to take this unexpected leap? Tension hung in the air as Marcus drove with his mom, the car rolling along back roads lined with blooming dogwood trees. He could feel each bump beneath the tires, but more importantly, he felt something shifting within him. The thrill of winning was undeniably sweet, yet the bitter taste of self-doubt lingered like a bad aftertaste. "What do you think he meant?" Marcus asked, glancing at the business card resting on his lap. The name Mark Ainsworth seemed to pulse with new possibilities. "He wants to talk about your art, honey." "That's great." Sarah's voice perked up, buoyed by a flicker of hope. "But why me?" He turned to her, frustration etched on his brow. Why would a billionaire care? He probably thinks this makes for a nice story. Just some kid from the projects getting lucky. Before Sarah could answer, the weight of insecurity gripped his chest. She opened her mouth, but closed it again, frustration competing with her own fears. The silence stretched, heavy with unspoken words. "I just want to feel real, Mom," Marcus finally said, tears pricking his eyes. "Not some token to be put on a shelf." "Oh, Marcus." Sarah reached over to squeeze his hand. "You are so much more than that. You want to just be a story. You're the one who creates." He offered a weak smile, but didn't he fully believe her words? The day had put him in a public spotlight, and while that felt incredible, it was overwhelming to think someone like Mark wanted to seek him out. When they pulled into the parking lot of the local ice cream parlor, the familiar facade brought a sense of comfort. It was their little tradition after achievements, big or small. The vibrant colors of the neon sign buzzed with energy as they hopped out. "2 scoops of your favorite, then?" Sarah asked, pushing open the door. "Yeah, that sounds good," he replied, but his thoughts kept returning to Mark. The man had looked at him not just as a boy but as an artist. What would happen if he let this opportunity in? They stood in line, exchanging playful banter about flavors. Sarah pointed out vivid colors, like the mint green of the pistachio ice cream, making Marcus chuckle for the first time all day. "I'll have a scoop of strawberry and chocolate, please," he exclaimed, his smile widening. With cones in hand, they settled on a bench outside. "Look at them," Marcus said, nodding towards a group of kids at a nearby table, giggling as they devoured ice cream-covered faces. "They don't care about where I came from. They're just enjoying life." "That's right," Sarah agreed, her eyes softening as she took a sip from her own cone. "Just be you. Let your art speak. This moment is your turning point." But those words felt scarce against the roar in his mind. He was caught between wanting to take a leap and the fear of falling. And then, as the sun dipped lower, casting golden hues around them, his phone buzzed in his pocket. Fumbling, he pulled it out to see a message from Mark. "Let us meet tomorrow. I want to share ideas. This could be what you've been waiting for." His heart raced. It was real. He stared at the screen, hopes bubbling beneath the surface like the fizzy soda he'd chosen. "Mom," he said, breathless, "what if I say yes? What if this is everything we've hoped for?" As Sarah's eyes lit up, a new fear flickered inside Marcus. What if it changed everything, even the pieces of their lives that felt so fragile now? "Can I tell you something?" she asked, the warmth in her tone matching the setting sun. "Taking risks is the only way we'll find out what we're capable of." "So what is it going to be?" Marcus took a deep breath. He could either step into the unknown or let fear hold him back. "All right, I'll do it," he finally said, determination mixing with his excitement. But deep within, a whisper ebbed, the shadow of doubt still lingered. What awaited him in the coffee shop that next day, and would he truly be ready for the world beyond the canvas? The next morning felt like a whirlwind. Marcus moved through his routine in a haze, everything tinged with the anticipation of what lay ahead. The familiar sounds of his neighborhood awakened him, yet nothing felt ordinary about this day. His stomach churned with nerves. Each bite of breakfast tasted bland, his fingers tapping anxiously against the table. "Are you ready?" Sarah asked, peering at him over her coffee cup. She seemed energized, her excitement acting like a battery, charging him up even in his uncertainty. Marcus nodded, though internally he was a mix of thrill and dread. "Yeah, I think so." His mom smiled, but concern flickered in her eyes. "Just remember, you're talented. You've worked hard for this." He wanted to believe her. With every brushstroke, every late-night sketch, he poured his soul into his art. But facing Mark Ainsworth, a man who commanded rooms and ideas with his wealth, made him feel small. Did his passion really stack up against that kind of power? They arrived at the cafe early, Marcus's heart racing with every step. He scanned the room, taking in the espresso machines that hissed, the chatter of friends over steaming mugs, the air thick with the aroma of roasted beans. It was a cozy place, yet felt vastly different, from the sterile boardrooms he imagined billionaires frequented. What if he doesn't show? Marcus asked as they settled into a booth, the plush leather easing his anxiety just a fraction. Then he doesn't. But he will. It's your moment, Sarah responded, her voice steadying him as much as the coffee in front of him. Minutes slipped past, each second stretching into an eternity. Just as he was about to lose hope, the cafe door swung open, and a gust of cool air followed Mark in. The man had an unmistakable presence, suave and confident. He drew attention without effort. Marcus felt his heartbeat quicken. This was his moment of truth. Mark's gaze scanned the room until it landed on Marcus. With a broad smile, he approached, extending a hand. Marcus. Great to finally meet you in person. Hi. Marcus managed, shaking his hand. The warmth of Mark's grip was reassuring, yet nerves buzzed in his stomach. Let us sit, yeah? Mark suggested, settling across from him. The ease in his voice made Marcus feel slightly more at home. Your artwork at the competition was exceptional, he began, looking genuinely impressed. You have something special. I want to help you explore that. Really? The word slipped out before he could fully comprehend its meaning. Was this real? Absolutely. Art can change lives, and you're just at the beginning of yours. Those words reverberated through Marcus, igniting something within. What do you mean? Mark leaned in, his expression shifting from businessman to mentor. I see potential. Collaborating could turn your ideas into something bigger, a real project, maybe even an exhibition. Marcus choked on his breath. An exhibition? The thought both thrilled and terrified him. But what if I mess up? You won't, Mark assured him. It's about learning, and I'll be with you every step of the way. We'll figure it out together. Marcus's mind raced through possibilities. Could this really be the launch pad for everything he had ever dreamed of? The idea filled him with both excitement and the trembling weight of fear. What if he couldn't keep up or let Mark down? All right, let us do it, Marcus said, his voice steadier than he felt. But if I'm going to take this leap, I need to trust you. Let me fall. Mark grinned, a sense of camaraderie forming in that moment. Trust is everything. We'll make magic happen. As they delved into a cascade of ideas, Marcus's doubts began to slip away. Hope glimmered like sunlight breaking through clouds. This was the chance he had longed for. Yet, a shadow of anxiety still curled at the edges of his excitement. What if he couldn't rise to the occasion? What if he lost himself in the bigger world Mark was promising? Marcus realized that as much as he craved this opportunity, he must also face the fear of not being enough. And just as the ideas flowed between them, he could feel the universe shifting in his favor. Yet, the echo of doubt remained, waiting to see if he could truly embrace the artistry within. Would he honor his talent or let the fear of failure drown out his passion? The path ahead was uncertain, but one thing was clear: he was standing on the edge of a new beginning, ready or not. And what if, in this whirlwind of ambition and hope, the greatest transformation was yet to come? Marcus felt a rush of energy swirl inside him, a thrilling blend of hope and anxiety, as he and Mark mapped out their ambitious plans. With each idea they exchanged, Marcus found his passion reigniting. The way Mark spoke, bubbling with enthusiasm, made the possibilities feel tangible, as if they were already standing in a gallery, surrounded by his art. Let us create something meaningful, Mark said, scribbling notes on his tablet. The clack of the stylus against the screen sounded like the rhythm of a clock counting down to a new adventure. Like what? Marcus asked, his curiosity peeking through the layers of apprehension. What if we explored the stories behind your art? Your vision, your journey. We could have video interviews, behind-the-scenes shots of you working, maybe even a blog chronicling the entire process. Mark's eyes lit up as he spoke. We weave it all into a powerful narrative that people can connect with. I love that idea, Marcus replied, his heart racing. But what if people don't care? Some will, and those who don't, well, they're not the ones we're creating for, Mark assured him. You have a voice. Use it. Art is a conversation. As they brainstormed, an idea blossomed that sent a jolt of excitement through Marcus. The thought of sharing his struggles and triumphs felt both liberating and terrifying. I think I'd like to include my childhood, he finally said, hesitating slightly. The things that inspired me to create. Let it all out. Mark leaned forward, attentive. Your journey informs your art. It gives it weight. Don't shy away from the hard stuff. That's where real connection lies. Marcus hesitated, memories flooding his mind, his late nights sketching at the tiny cafe, always yearning for validation, the feeling of being a small fish in a big pond. Would sharing those memories help or hurt? Mark seemed to sense his hesitation. I can share something personal too, he said, giving Marcus an encouraging nod. People love authenticity. It shows that someone they admire wrestles with their own battles. A smile broke across Marcus's face, the tension in his chest loosening slightly. Okay, let us dig deep then. Ideas animated their conversation, the cafe becoming their brainstorming hub. They discussed venues, galleries, and marketing strategies, diving into the logistics that could shape an exhibition that felt uniquely Marcus. But a nagging itch in his mind remained. What if the world didn't get it? What if, despite all this, he remained just ordinary? Are you scared? Mark's voice pulled him from his thoughts. Marcus exhaled deeply. Yeah, absolutely. Mark nodded knowingly. Good. Use it. Fear challenges us. It's a sign that you're stepping outside your comfort zone, growing. Marcus felt his heartbeat quicken once more. This whirlwind of creativity and expectation surrounded him like a tidal wave. On one hand, he was ready to make a splash. On the other, he felt the weight of expectation pressing down on him. Just then, his phone buzzed, jolting him from his spiral of thoughts. He glanced at the screen. It was a text from Sarah. Hey! Can't wait to hear all about your meeting. Have you made any plans yet? He chuckled softly. He could almost picture her bouncing in excitement at the other end. Marcus realized he needed to tell her about everything, even the fears he held close. This was just his journey. It was about sharing it with those who stood by him. Those who believed in him when he didn't believe in himself. Looking back at Mark, he said, I want to tell my story, the good and the bad. The struggle just makes the art better, right? Absolutely, Mark replied, a proud grin spreading across his face. And I'll help you make sure that it all comes alive on that canvas we call the world. As their conversation flowed, Marcus felt a shift, a sunset of doubts fading as excitement bathed him. Maybe this was his destined turn to shine. But as they talked of timelines and marketing plans, a deeper question lingered in Marcus's heart. Would his story resonate? Or would the vulnerability he planned to share be met with indifference? The finality of their session loomed near, but excitement danced in its place. They concluded with a schedule for the next meeting, and once again he could feel the pull of opportunity. The cafe faded behind him, but the journey was just beginning. And as much as it invigorated him, it terrified him just as deeply. As they stepped out into the bustling city, Marcus felt a tingle in his chest. Would his journey into the spotlight change him, or would he end up lost in it? One thing tugged at him: the greater the leap, the bigger the possibility of falling. But for now, he was ready to trust, ready to climb the heights of his dreams even if they led to places he couldn't yet imagine. But with that thought, he couldn't shake the idea that perhaps not all discoveries lead to light. Would he emerge triumphant, or would the shadows lurking around him rise to claim what they always sought? The city rushed by in a blur of colors and sounds, and Marcus felt an unexpected weight settle on him. Each footstep rang louder than the last as he walked beside Mark. Their plans and ambitions swirled around his mind, almost like a flickering neon sign, bright but disorienting. "Marcus!" Mark exclaimed, jerking him from his thoughts. "You good? You look like you've seen a ghost." He tried to laugh it off, but the tension in his chest shifted into something heavier. "Yeah, just thinking about everything. It feels huge." Mark nodded, his expression serious. "It is huge. But you've got this. Remember why you're doing it. Think of how it all started." "Right." Marcus inhaled deeply, recalling those nights spent lost in his sketches, the way raw emotions transformed into lines and colors. But now, sharing these thoughts felt different. What if people couldn't see those emotions? What if they looked at his art and didn't connect with him at all? Mark noted the contemplation in Marcus's eyes. "Hey, just take it one step at a time. Don't dive into the ocean without looking. Just dip your toes first, see what you feel. You're not alone in this." Marcus appreciated the encouragement, yet his heart still raced with uncertainty. What if I put myself out there, and it doesn't matter? What if my story doesn't resonate? Mark stepped closer, the bustling city around them fading into the background. "Then you'll learn. Every artist's journey has its challenges. It's how we grow. Trust the process." The words stirred something deep within Marcus. Maybe the journey meant more than the destination. The opportunity to share a piece of himself, to connect with others, was profoundly significant. His fingers brushed his phone, thinking of Sarah. "Right. I need to call Sarah. She always reminds me of why I started." "Do it," Mark said, gesturing for him to pull up her contact. "This is part of your story, too. The people who support you are part of your journey." With shaking hands, Marcus tapped on her name. He heard her cheerful voice on the other end, filled with warmth. "Marcus, how did it go? Tell me everything." "Hey, Sarah. It went incredibly well, but I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed." He paused, hesitating about whether to share the depths of his fears. But they had always connected through their vulnerabilities. "Mark and I talked about telling my story, and I want to include my childhood. But what if it just falls flat?" "Marcus," she sparkled through the line, "your childhood? That's where everything started for you. People feel those raw emotions. It'll resonate. It's you." Her words wrapped around his heart, squeezing out the doubt. "Yeah, I guess you're right. I just can't shake this feeling that it might end up meaningless." "Is that how you feel about me?" she asked, suddenly serious. "Aren't I important to you just because of our shared experiences? Isn't that what makes our friendship valuable?" He considered that for a moment. "You're absolutely right, Sarah. You've always understood me." "Exactly. Just like your art, you matter to me. Your story matters. Remember, it's not about everyone liking it. It's about being true to yourself and the few who connect with it." Her words struck him like a tuning fork, resonating deep within him. The weight on his shoulders lightened. "Thank you, Sarah. I really needed to hear that." "Good. Now go out there and create something beautiful. I'm cheering for you." As he hung up, Marcus felt invigorated, a spark pulsing in his chest. He turned to Mark, excitement igniting in his gaze. "I can do this. I want to be authentic. To show the truth of my journey." "Sure you can," Mark said, clapping him on the back. "Let's get started on your story, one brush stroke at a time." But just as his pulse began to steady, he glimpsed a figure standing near the sidewalk, half shadowed by the approaching twilight. The woman looked familiar. There was a pregnant pause as their eyes locked. Was it his neighbor from childhood? The one he had drawn countless times in his sketches, captured in the essence of his early work? She took a hesitant step forward, uncertainty in her gaze. Memories rushed back those summer days, when she transformed mundane afternoons into splashes of color. But why was she here, after all this time? Marcus's heartbeat quickened, the unexpected spark of recognition igniting both fear and hope. "Mark," he whispered, fear gripping at the edges, "I need to talk to her." What did this chance encounter mean for his story? Would she remember him too, or had they both drifted too far apart in the currents of life? With trepidation, he took a step towards her. Would this moment lead to a revelation he had long awaited, or stir up ghosts from his past that he had hoped were long buried? The world around him faded into a blur as Marcus stepped closer to the woman. She looked just as he remembered her long dark hair and a gentle smile that offered comfort in a chaotic world. Yet now, her expression was tinged with hesitation, as if she too felt the weight of the years. "Melissa?" he called out, his voice barely pushing through the cacophony of the city. Her eyes widened, and recognition flickered behind them. "Marcus? I can't believe it." He paused, taken aback by the warmth her voice brought back, laced with the echo of childhood laughter. "What are you doing here?" She laughed softly, trying to mask the tremor in her voice. "Just visiting some old haunts. I moved away a while back. Just thought I'd stop by." Marcus fought to calm his speeding heart. It's been so long. Memories, vivid and cherished, cascaded over him like a wave. Hours spent together, art-making, innocent dreams shared on warm summer evenings, each moment felt both recent and distant. Melissa stepped closer, her eyes scanning his face for an understanding he was trying to find. "How have you been? I heard some whispers you're an artist now." He nodded, suddenly shy about revealing the depths of his journey. "Yeah, I'm trying to get my work out there. It's a lot to process." His voice was steadier now, emboldened by her presence. "What about you?" With a flicker of vulnerability, she admitted, "I'm still finding my way too. It's been hard, but I'm figuring it out." They stood there, a fragile moment nestled in a bustling city, where time felt both infinite and fleeting. Would it be enough for their stories to intersect again? As old memories swirled, new realizations began to weave within him. "Do you remember that summer we spent making art in the park? I drew you so many times." "You were always my muse," he confessed, a smile creeping onto his lips. Her laughter rang like a reminder of simpler times. "I remember. You always captured my better side, or made me look like a superhero." Her cheeks flushed with unguarded joy, and he felt their shared past breathing life into the moment. "But really," she continued, her smile softening, "I've missed those days. You had such a gift." He searched her eyes, feeling the pull of nostalgia and a strange sense of unrest. "I guess I'm trying to rediscover the gift. I want to share my story, all the highs and lows. But it's so scary." Melissa's eyes sparkled with understanding. "What is holding you back?" "The fear that it won't resonate," he admitted, vulnerability washing over him. "What if my story is just noise to everyone else?" "Marcus," she responded earnestly, "everyone has a story. It's how we connect. You might be surprised by who it touches." Her conviction struck a chord deep within him. A flicker of courage ignited the spark that had dimmed earlier. What if this chance encounter was exactly what he needed? Suddenly, he felt the course of their meeting shifting. It was more than mere nostalgia. "Do you want to grab coffee or something? I'd love to catch up more, see where life has taken us." Melissa smiled with a hint of surprise, like a sunset breaking through storm clouds. "I'd like that." As they began to walk together, a thought crossed Marcus's mind. Could their shared past reshape both their futures? He felt a connection sparking again, greater than either of them had anticipated. They were both on a path of transformation. The ink of their lives was still wet, ready to blend into something beautiful. But as they turned the corner, they spotted an art gallery across the street, the vibrant colors in the window calling out to him. Something stirred deep inside. "Should we?" "I'd love to have your input on my work," he said hesitantly, excitement bubbling in him. "Absolutely. I've always wanted to see your art in person," she replied with enthusiasm. Just as he was about to cross the street, a commotion erupted behind them, pulling their attention away. A loud shout pierced the air, catching Marcus off guard, the pulse of the moment shifting abruptly. What was that? Marcus turned, his pulse racing. And then they saw it, a figure. Stumbling out of a dark alley, shadows swirling around him like a storm. What did this mean for their hopeful reunion? The unexpected twist left Marcus breathless. What was about to unfold? Marcus's breath caught as he took in the scene before him. The figure emerged from the darkness, a young man, disheveled and panicked, his clothes tattered and stained. He stumbled into the light, eyes darting, searching for something or someone. The crowd around them began to murmur, a blend of curiosity and concern rippling through the air. Is he okay? Melissa asked, glancing nervously at Marcus. I don't know, he replied, instinctively taking a step forward. There was something desperate about the man's expression that struck a chord deep within him, awakening a sense of duty, even if he was still reeling from his reunion with Melissa. Hey! Marcus called out, raising his arm slightly, trying to signal the man. The words felt heavy, weighted in a way he couldn't quite explain. The man paused, his eyes locking onto Marcus with an intensity that felt almost magnetic. Please help me, he gasped, clutching his side, clearly out of breath. They're coming for me. Melissa grabbed Marcus's arm tightly. What do we do? Do you think he needs help? Maybe we should call someone. But before Marcus could respond, the young man took a few wobbly steps toward them, nearly collapsing at their feet. The chaos surrounding them seemed to fade, and all that mattered was this urgent plea. Please, he repeated, breathless and desperate, his voice rising. I didn't mean to. I just wanted to protect him. There was a haunting urgency in the man's eyes, as if he were fighting to deliver a message against impossible odds. A knot formed in Marcus's stomach. Protect who? He asked, trying to grasp the situation. He hardly registered how close they had come to the unknown. The little boy, I need to get back to him. They don't care about him like I do, the man pleaded, a tear escaping down his dirt-smudged cheek. He is just a child. Please! Where is he? Melissa urged, glancing around to gauge the increasing tension in the crowd. In the park. They were looking for him too. They know I'm hiding him. His voice was shaky, panic rising within him. Okay, let us go. Show us. Marcus felt an odd thrill surge inside him, a mixture of fear and adrenaline. This was bigger than him, bigger than his art and his fears. This was life, raw and demanding action. Are you sure we should get involved? Melissa whispered, her eyes darting to the growing crowd that was beginning to take interest. I can't just stand by and do nothing, Marcus replied, a newfound determination fueling his pace. He turned to the young man. Lead us to the park. We'll help you. Without hesitation, the man nodded, finally straightening himself. Together, they began to weave through the bustling city streets, urgency propelling their steps. The world morphed around them as they hurried, echoes of laughter and shouts blending into a background hum. The atmosphere felt charged. Melissa walked at Marcus's side, her hand squeezing his. This is crazy, but I'm with you. Thank you, he whispered back, gratitude surging through him. The fear was palpable, yet an ember of strength flickered in his chest. Maybe this encounter was not only about reuniting with Melissa, but about something greater, a chance for both of them to find their true selves in the chaos. As they reached the park, the scene unfolded before them. A small group gathered, tension palpable. But just then, Marcus's heart sank. He spotted a child sitting alone on a swing, watching the world go by as shadows loomed nearby. Is that him? Marcus shouted, pointing. The young man's eyes widened. Yes, that's him. We have to hurry. They rushed toward the boy, the sense of urgency pulsing in Marcus's veins. But as they drew closer, a realization hit him like a freight train. Who were these shadows? What would happen if they reached the child first? In that instant, Marcus knew they were on the precipice of something monumental. Could they save the boy? The ground felt unstable beneath them, his heart racing like it never had before. But the moment became surreal, every breath thick with uncertainty. Could this act of bravery shift their lives forever? Would they find the courage to confront whatever darkness lay ahead? And just as they reached the child, a voice rang out from behind, freezing Marcus in his tracks. Stop right there! What would happen next? Marcus froze, every muscle in his body tensing in response to that authoritative command. The shadows he had sensed rushed forward, and from behind him, the group of masked figures materialized, their faces obscured but their intentions clear. Get away from him! Shouted one of the men, stepping closer with a confident, almost menacing stride. The young man beside Marcus flinched. His eyes darted between Marcus, the boy, and the approaching figures, a whirlwind of terror swirling within them. Please, what do you want? Melissa's voice quivered slightly, a mix of fear and resolve. She kept her grip on Marcus's arm, her knuckles white. They're after the kid, the young man exclaimed, desperation flooding his voice. They don't understand he needs me. The boy on the swing looked up, his innocent gaze confused by the sudden chaos. Marcus's heart skipped a beat. He felt the gravity of the moment weighing down on him. How could they possibly protect the child with these men closing in? Get back! One of the men shouted again, pulling out a device from his pocket, a black gadget that gleamed ominously under the park lights. The crowd that had gathered shifted uneasily, torn between instinctual curiosity and wanting to retreat. Please, we're just trying to help, Marcus said, taking a tentative step forward. He wasn't ready to back down. Something in him could not let the boy be taken away without a fight. He could feel Melissa breathing heavily next to him, matching the rapid pace of his heart. The child is in danger. Ask him, the young man pleaded, his voice cracking. There was something about his desperation that touched a nerve in Marcus. It echoed the times he felt helpless, watching things unfold from the sidelines, unable to change the course of events affecting those he loved. The man with the gadget smirked. Danger? This kid doesn't even know what danger is. He is just a pawn in your mess. There was an arrogance in his tone that further sparked Marcus's resolve. Stop it! You can't take him. I won't let you. The young man screamed, stepping in front of the boy protectively. Melissa tugged on Marcus's arm, her eyes wide. Marcus, what are you doing? We can't take them all on. But he couldn't back down. Not now. Not when he understood the stakes. Call the police. He shouted to anyone who would listen, hoping to drown out the men, hold them back while they found a way to protect the child. Melissa fumbled for her phone, shaking slightly as she dialed, her voice tinged with urgency. Help is on the way. We just need to hold them off. The atmosphere crackled with tension. The masked figures moved closer, their intentions increasingly clear. They intended to take the boy, no matter the cost. Marcus's mind raced as he looked between the young man and the child. They were his responsibility now, a small family in dire need of protection. On the count of 3, he whispered to the young man. We'll rush him. Just keep him safe. Okay, the man replied, steeling himself. 1, 2, 3. With sheer adrenaline, Marcus lunged forward, grabbing the boy from the swing, pulling him into his arms just as the first hand reached out to snatch him away. The world erupted into chaos. Voices shouted, and fists flew. Marcus held the child tightly, determined not to let go. Behind him, Melissa raised her phone, snapping quick photos as if the flash could offer some level of protection. Help is coming, she shouted again, but the tension was rising, and every second felt like an eternity. The fight was just beginning as Marcus's heart raced with a mixture of fear and resolve. This was bigger than him, bigger than any reunion he had ever imagined. But would they be able to protect the innocent child against forces that were already advancing? As the crowd began to clash, another voice emerged from the chaos, one that made everyone freeze. Stop this. I need to speak. There's more at stake here than you know. Fear gripped Marcus as he turned to see another figure stepping forward from the shadows. What truth was left to uncover? The figure that stepped out from the shadows was an older man, his presence commanding attention amidst the chaos. He wore a deep frown, but there was determination in his gaze. "I'm the boy's uncle," he announced, voice ringing out like a lifeline. "There's been a misunderstanding. If you let him go, I'll explain everything." The masked figures hesitated, confusion flickering over their faces as they weighed this new development. Marcus stayed rooted, holding the boy protectively while the dynamics shifted. Melissa's phone was still clenched tightly in her hand, ready to call for help at a moment's notice. Time paused, tension snapping in the air like a taut bowstring. "Your uncle?" one of the figures blurted out, skepticism coloring his tone. Was this man truly who he claimed to be? "Since when did you care about him?" The older man's voice softened, a reality dawning amidst the chaos. "I care every day. But I wasn't around to protect him. I made mistakes. I'm paying for them now, but I want to make amends." Marcus's heart raced, torn between fear for the boy's safety and curiosity about the man's intentions. The hours he'd spent dreaming about his art seemed infinitesimal compared to the gravity of this moment. This was about more than him. It was life or death. "Please," the uncle continued, earnest eyes pleading. "Just listen. I found out about a gang that's been threatening my sister's son. I rushed over to keep him safe, but it's bigger than I thought. They are desperate. You need to trust me." Fear and uncertainty clashed within him. "If we let him go, can we trust you?" Marcus questioned, his voice steady but low, trying to convey the weight of his responsibility to the child. "Trust is built, young man," the uncle said, sincerity washing over him. "But I promise to protect him. I need your help. He is innocent in all of this." The boy nestled against Marcus's side. He sensed danger, eyes darting nervously, trembling slightly. Marcus's heart melted at the sight. Looking at Melissa, he saw fear reflected in her eyes, yet also determination. "We can't let him go anywhere with those guys." "We don't know if he is telling the truth," she whispered urgently. "Hold on a second," Marcus replied, instinctively tightening his grip on the child. This unraveled a deeper realization. What if the gamble is worth it? What if his truth is the key to saving this kid? The uncle may have redeemed potential hope. There was knowledge under those words, something to grasp tight. "Okay," Marcus took a deep breath, forcing calmness into his voice. "You can prove your words. Tell us everything. But you need to act fast before they decide to move." The gang members gawked at him, torn between confusion and suspicion. They had little patience for family drama. The tension crackled like a live wire, hanging by a single thread. Marcus knew he could only hold on so long. Taking a step closer to the uncle, he said, "But if you betray us in the slightest—" "I swear," the uncle interrupted, "I won tea. I'll stand for those I failed. You have to trust me." As they spoke, the gang shifted, their impatience mounting, shadows lurking closer. "Talk quickly," Marcus prompted, the boy clinging to him as if his life depended on it. Maybe it did. "All right," the uncle began, voice steady despite the chaos swelling around them. "There's a group wanting to control the neighborhood. They're using kids as pawns in their sick games. When I heard they were targeting my sister's boy, I fought to get here." He pointed to the child. "He is the only family I have left, and I want to let them take him. They think he knows something he doesn't. The crowd leaned in, murmurs rippled through them, curiosity peaking. Melissa's fingers tightened around Marcus's arm, giving him strength as he processed the uncle's words. Then let us protect him together, Marcus declared, emboldened by this urgent unity. But we need to expose this gang first. We need more people. As the words left his lips, a siren began to wail in the distance. Hope surged through him. Help was on the way, but they needed to act quickly. We'll hold them off until the police arrive, he shouted, the fear running electrifyingly through his veins. The figures from the gang shifted back slightly, unease creeping into their expressions. A clock was ticking, and they knew time was turning against them. You'll regret this, one of them growled, stepping back, pulling out a communication device. We'll come back for him. Not if we have anything to say about it, Marcus replied, resolution tightening his grip on the boy. The fear swelled within the boy's eyes met with silence. He was ready to unleash something more profound than he ever envisioned. In moments, law enforcement arrived, lights flashing like beacons of hope, drowning the park's energy in a surge of authority. The masked figures scattered like roaches in the light of day, but the bond between Marcus and the boy grew stronger. It was just a mission. It was a transformation turning fear into strength. As the dust settled, the uncle knelt beside the boy, wrapping him in a protective embrace. You're safe now, he whispered. Marcus felt relief flooding through him. Amid chaos, they had woven a new story of family's renewal, two paths crossing in a most unusual moment. Melissa sidled next to Marcus, eyes bright with recognition of what they'd accomplished. We did it, she breathed, awe dancing in her voice. Yeah, together, he responded, relief washing over him like a blanket of warmth. The boy turned for the first time, need shining in his eyes. Thank you, sir, he said to Marcus, words forming a bridge between a child's innocence and the challenges ahead. With the police securing the scene, Marcus felt a shift in himself, a confidence emerging from the depths of vulnerability. What do you want your story to be? He asked himself at that moment. He had always known he wanted an audience, a connection. Today, he found that the greatest art is born from the heart and genuine courage. This is just the beginning, he thought, and as the sun finally dipped below the horizon, canvas and life began to mold anew. Emboldened, he looked back at Melissa. Let us create something beautiful together. As they left the park, the moon rose wide as silver dreams, lighting the path ahead. But now, as you reach the end of this powerful journey, I must say, you need to subscribe now. This is the moment to show your support. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and help more incredible stories unfold. Comment below with your reactions and feelings about this ending. We love hearing from you. Don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation unfold. Your support means the world. Let's keep the magic alive together.